Hey, yo, what's up, guys? So we got my boy Sabit. Hey, what you do this weekend, bro? What you do?
I am Sabit, like you said, and I won the remote YCS this Sunday,
Okay,
and
okay,
I won it with the VSK9.
that's my boy. That's my boy. And this was your first top cut, right? Because I know you topped a few regionals, but this was your first YCS top cut, also, right?
Yeah, this was first YCS top, and then first YCS win in the same
So you're him. You're
achievement.
him.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a few questions about the event, and then I'll ask you about the deck. So like, how did it feel with the time rules? I mean, you're used to it because I know you played a bunch of like remote locals and remote regionals, but how was the time rules being 55 minutes? Was it all good? Like, was anyone was it
I
was it
would
hard?
say I would say regarding the time rules, I feel like everyone is playing at a reasonable pace. But my deck also one of the advantages it has is that it kind of plays on your opponent's turn, and usually if your turn zero hand traps resolve, we quickly go on to game two.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. I feel like all of my games did not go. None of my games were ever close time except for round nine where I was against Dracotail, and we had a very long grind game. So though that was the only game which could have possibly gone to time.
No one was like, and it's good that you played VS because it's hard to read people's cards on like remote duels because you have to go on Neuron. Like Konami wants you to go on Neuron, search up the card, and that takes forever. So it's good you played VS. Like everyone knows what that deck does. And like, wait, how many people instantly scooped when he went in the Royal Look at hand? By the way.
Mm, I'd say it was about to be three, but the third person was taking like a couple of minutes just to think about it. But it was two people that
Okay,
scooped.
okay, pretty chill, pretty chill.
But it was about to be three, but they eventually did not scoop. But as soon as he saw his top deck, he did scoop. So take that as you will. Take
Nice.
that as you will.
I saw this was okay. I don't know if it was that bad for you, but I saw like a lot of other people complaining in the event that like top tables, people just like join it before the round was even started, like so no one could join. That was like I was trying to watch you play, bro. The tables are instantly full, bro. Even before you join, it was crazy.
I think this was like a major issue because I think I think this was my last round of Swiss, I believe, and I was trying to go to my table. There was four people, and and none of them were my opponent. So there was four randomers just watching with no people playing. I'm like,
Yeah,
what is going
bro.
on
I
here?
I saw a lot of people complaining about that. Like that was just like you stop, you guys stop joining the call, bro. Stop joining the call if you're not playing. Like before the round even starts. Like that is so crazy.
And I don't mind viewers. I feel like viewers are kind of good. I
Yeah.
feel like it also creates a sense of pressure and sense of like immersion. Like you're playing, people are watching, you're in a real event. So I don't mind viewers. Is when they actually start annoying you. That's when it becomes an issue. Like spectate, don't interact.
I know, I know. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. How many people like us like especially because it was affecting you, but like all like the top players instantly like Julian Khan, like Jesse Khan, they could not get into their tables. It was so annoying. But all right, I need to ask you why did you pick K9 VS by the way, bro? Because I know your regional top it was Draco Tail, right? The last one.
The reason I played K9 VS was because I when Justice for Hunters first came out, I was on Dracotail, but slowly I realized is that the Dracotail mirror was very like mentally draining. It isn't bad. It is very fun, but to play at a very high level consistently for a lot of rounds, especially at a time where Dracotail was getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
I remember in the YCS that was in America, where what was his name? I forgot his name. That won the
Oh yeah.
branded.
Aditya. Yeah,
I
when
forgot his
Aditya
name.
won.
Yeah, he won. Before and after, just like a 2 weeks gap before and after, a lot of Dracotail was going around, and I couldn't play the mirror anymore. It just felt too mentally draining. It felt kind of sucky at times as well.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but a lot of times when they saw like a turn zero player like Fimena and Urgula, you would just get destroyed. And I felt like I just didn't want to play the Dracotail mirror anymore. And then I eventually moved to VS, and VS K9 is a very good counter to Dracotail.
I know Ripper's crazy. So how many Draco Tail did you play by the way?
How many Dracotails? It was about, I think,
Okay,
four
that's not too bad.
Dracotail.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right, I need to ask you some things about your list really quick. So, when I saw it, the main difference I saw with yours and
Go
other
on.
people's list is that you're maining the trap and X Force. Like, that makes you're going first like crazy always. Like, if you don't brick, you're going first is insane. But how did it feel like maining both the trap and X Force?
So if you look at my list, which I presume you're looking at right now,
Yeah,
you can see that I don't play any real hand traps going first, except for Ash Blossom and maybe the Bestials if you depending on the matchup.
yeah,
But only Ash Blossom is a real hand trap going first. So when I was testing, the talents and the call by was Bell, and I was testing out Droll as well, and then I realized something that Bell wasn't really working with the deck. It wasn't really working with the theory of the deck. It wasn't
yeah,
working with the idea of what the deck's trying to do. And I realized is that I need something like an insurance policy when I go first, and a kind of a play under Fua where I guarantee I live another turn or I don't lose. And the trap card was the only card which gave me that guarantee because, like I said, you know the term. Everybody knows it. He has a full board, then he has a draw, which
yeah.
is basically unbeatable. For my deck, there's no draw in the main or side, but the trap card acts like draw because it guarantees me that no matter what, I will have bodies on the field, and it will be very unlikely that you win the game. That's how strong the trap card is.
I agree. I agree. And I mean the list looks clean, like 40 clean. I was surprised that you didn't even play Droll in the side deck, but that's fair because I feel like Droll's really good into Yummy Mitsu, but you have to make them play kind of weird for Droll to be like really good, like put them on a really bad board to be honest. So that's fair to not
So
even play it.
the other reason, like when you said draw, the other reason I don't like playing draw is because Yumi Mitsu actually has a line to play around draw. Any Yumi name with the two discards plays around draw.
Yeah,
If
the
people don't
Doris
know,
thing.
they should the Starham to Garrus line. So I
Yeah,
was like, a lot of times in testing, draw would just stick in my hand, and I was like, I would rather for me to draw cards than draw them, and and it worked because what I would do is and you have to understand Droll. You have to understand Droll, and you have to put Vanquish Soul in perspective because Vanquish Soul is a card that likes having monsters in hand. It's not like Ryziel where a monster keeps on replacing one another, one
yeah.
another, one another. The Vanquish Soul needs cards in hand, and if you read Droll and in simple terms, it says neg one because your
True.
opponent
Yeah.
your opponent is adding a card, you are then drawing him, you now have four cards left in hand, your opponent has five or six depending on what card he used and how many added on his first add. So now you've gone my neg one and your opponent has gone like plus one. So now that doesn't work with the theory of the deck. So I was like, why am I playing Droll when it directly conflicts with my deck? The only reason you'd play Droll is if we were in a fully VSK9 format where the whole of the room was on
Yes.
VSK9,
Yes. That's fair.
or the whole room was on a deck like Ryziel, which keeps on searching. But other than that, no, I didn't see a point of playing Droll.
Okay, that's fair. And like, no, I really like the side deck of like just six chummies. It's super crazy. Like you're also gonna perma draw. Like even Yummy Mitsu, because against Yummy Mitsu, what are you putting in? You're putting in just meows, right? Meows Fua.
So while we were testing against Mitsu, you actually want to put in a double Perulia and then three Meows. What we realized in testing is that the eight Mulchamis is the right sweet spot of Mulchamis to put in. Because we want to see them
Yeah,
consistently. Two, we want to see two in our opening hand or one to draw into another one.
yeah,
But most likely we want to see two because the first one, everybody knows this, it's gonna get ashed. No, everyone knows Fool Loss never resolves.
yeah. Right. Of course. Of course.
And also, you have to understand, uh, Ash also, sorry, the Molchamis also act like a way that your Holy Su and your Izuna will resolve. Because usually, most of the time, let's say if you don't have a Molchami in hand, but your Holy Su and your Izuna is live, you've not done an Ash check with your Molchamis, they will just Ash the Izuna and Ash the Holy Su, and now you're like, okay. this hand trap and this hand trap is also dead. So like Mulchami's kind of acts like a way for your Holy Su and your Yuzuna to fully resolve as well.
Yeah.
So it's very important to note these things.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then I was gonna ask you about why did you play Jax? By the way, you played Valon instead, right? How was Valon in testing or even in the event?
So I didn't play Jax. Jax was good. I'm not gonna lie. Jax came up, but the Jax came up in 1 to 2 scenarios. I didn't. It came up as a hand trap, but I didn't like it much as a hand trap because I felt like what it provided you as a hand trap, I feel like other decks could do it better. Other decks could do it better, but what it provided for you as a end board piece was is you could make Ripper and have X Force release. You could then go X Force release, overlay Ripper into Jax. The X Force release would pop one, and Jax would pop another
Yeah.
one on summon, and usually that would get rid of like 2 level 5s on the field or 2 bodies on the field. But then I realize is if I actually make my hand if I make my end board better going first, I don't even need Jax. So when I was playing the trap card and I was playing Umbral Horror
Yeah.
C104, which is a
C104.
monster
Yeah.
negate, I realized I don't need Jax because those two cards fulfill the role of Jax because it provided that extra layer of my end board, where actually my end board, whereas I didn't even like it as a hand trap.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That makes sense. In Valon, it's like a little better. Go like with Azuna also. I think.
I think Valon it kind of makes up if Valon kind of makes up for my lack of Dracotail prep because if
Yeah.
you see, I don't have a lot of Dracotail answers in my main or side because my whole main deck is really good into Dracotail. So Valon kind of acts like because both effects of Valon comes up, the book to like book their monsters and then attack to then like make Zeus and also the graveyard effect of Valon to pop a set card. So both of them come up.
Yeah.
So that's why I kept it in Valon because it helped in the Dracotail matchup.
Okay. Okay. And then one more thing I need to ask in the side deck, bro. Hey, Tyrus, bro. Like when I first met you, you completely destroyed me with Tyrus into Zeus. Like how good was Tyrus for you in the event?
So Tyrus is a card is that if you don't play it, you will miss it. You know, it's a very good card in theory. It's a very good card because it answers. It gives you. So imagine this: if you if you're playing against Yomimitsu and they've gone first, if you're not playing Tyrus and your only hand trap is Izuna, you have no chance of winning.
Yeah.
If you have Tyrus, you now have a 50-50% chance of winning. Because what Tyrus does is that it gives you a 50-50, I say 50-50, but it depends on how many back row he sets. It gives you a 50-50% chance of sniping the trap card and then making Zeus. Because if you snipe the trap card, you then 100% have a chance of winning the game. Because what you would do, you let Yumi make the whole board, you'd attack over Herald, so that's one Omni
Yeah.
negate gone, and then you go end of battle phase effect to pop the trap card. Even if they chain the trap card, the cheetah still won't get destroyed, and then you'd make Zeus. So then your Zeus will then fully resolve, and that so it never came up, but I know I will miss that card if the opportunity came. So I would never cut it.
No,
I would never ever
I
cut it.
agree. Like
So
after playing against you, it feels it's so strong because a lot of the lists going first, they're not meaning the trap card like the purification. So just setting up Tyrus, there's like nothing they can do really. Like they'll set up the full board. You like they can't do anything. It's so impressive. Like Tyrus and
yeah,
Zeus.
I think like I would rather have the risk of having it dead than not having it in my static. I would 100% play, not play like 100% keep that card in the extra deck.
Yeah. I mean, your deck is so good at going first, also, because you have only two really going first cards, and like, so you're taking like all three Fuas, and you're putting anti spell, Teakboo, and like an Imperm, I guess, right? Going first. It's pretty broken,
So
actually.
it's kind of a matchup dependent, but usually yes, that would be the
Yeah,
case usually. But yeah, because some decks they don't really care about Tikaboo. So like Dracotail is a deck that can easily play around it. So I'll just put in double imperm because effect negation is really strong into
yeah,
Dracotail. It can also catch them off guard a lot. Um, and like yeah, that I definitely put those cards into Instead of Tikaboo, I'd put in like an imperm.
All right.
But yeah, usually if it's generic, then yeah, one of each.
Yeah. How did cherries feel for you, by the way, in the side? Because like I was testing a little bit on DB, and it really wasn't coming up that much. Where I guess I just never drew it. To be honest, I was never drawing cherries also when I was playing it.
So I've played this deck a lot, and I'm telling you, this deck's worst nightmare, and worst nightmare is pure yummy and sulfur cod yummy.
Yeah.
You cannot beat those boards, even if you have all the attributes in the world. Those decks are impossible for VSK9 to beat. Because the way they lay the interrupts and the way they don't trigger Izuna is so hard to beat them. And and if you look at my deck here, you have to understand. If you look at my deck, I have no small hand traps, no like low impactful hand traps except for Ash Blossom, and maybe you can count the Bystials. Obviously, they're matchup dependent. But Ash Blossom is only there because it's like an attribute and it counters Fua. But there's no Bell, no Droll, no effect veilers, nothing like that in the main deck or side deck. So I was like, I need a card which fits the theory of my deck. And my card, if you look at all my hand traps, they're all high impact.
Yeah.
They're all high impact hand traps. So cherries is very high impactful. By what I mean is that it forces your opponent to have a specific hand. Because not all hands play around cherries. Not all hands play around cherries because they need to open a specific engine hand to beat it, and it kind of like puts him on. You better have this hand. But another thing you must realize is that when I put in cherries, I also put in the 8 charmies. Cherries plus the charmies, you will never lose the game because they have to do the most awkward line to get back the snatchies.
Yeah.
So you can never ever lose if you have a cherry and a charmy. I'll give them a guarantee. Obviously, the charmy has to resolve. If it doesn't resolve, then unfortunately, you're never winning. Um,
Yeah. Bro,
but
I mean, yes, of course, bro. Yeah.
yeah, the cherry that has to resolve. But yeah, they have to. If they work together, you can never lose the game. Um,
I mean,
but
even if
yeah.
they have like, if they open well, it still trades well because to do the line, they can't search surprise. They have to search minion, discard minion. So I mean, no matter what, even if they have a good hand, the cherries are still gonna trade well with surprise. So it's pretty good, yeah. Now that I'm
So
thinking
so
about it.
I'll tell you I'll tell you one of the most awkward lines, and then and just imagine. So let's say your opponent goes normal summon Cookie. He's obviously not expecting the cherry, so he's not playing around
Yeah.
it. He goes normal summon Cookie, and then I go on res cherries, and then he goes okay, make Almirage and summon out let's say a Lollipo or another Cookie, not Cupsy. He then goes into Cupsy Yumiwe to add the Cupsy, and he has to discard a card. He has to discard one he has to add two yummy names and then discard one. Obviously he can't have the field spell because then it wouldn't work. But he has to discard a card. Kupsi's gonna add the minion. Now then he has to go into Starham
Yeah, to
to then
discard it.
discard the
Yeah.
minion. So now your opponent he has to play Starham and he has to discard 2 cards to fully get the snatches back into the extra deck. Now imagine all of that plus a Charmy. How are you ever
I mean,
losing?
yeah, bro. That's actually broken. Yeah. Now that okay, that's OP. What the fuck? I mean, let me see. Oh, okay. I need to ask you, bro. Your top 8 feature against Gem Knights for game 3. You actually played that crazy, bro. Cause like you're under game 3. It was Fua Perulia. So you make the half board, and I don't know how he didn't kill you. He messed up. He should have killed you. But the way that you played the battle phase. Let me actually bring it up. Do you remember how game 3 went? The battle phase. Cause you played it crazy.
I remember all of it because I remember all my top 8 games very vividly because I kept on going back on what I could have done better. Because there's one thing you have to realize. In that game, you might have thought I played perfectly. I did a lot of misplays. I could have played that even better. But it is what it is. I still managed to get through. My opponent made a misplay, and I took full advantage of it. And yeah, but I remember the battle phase specifically. He swung into Caesar. Did one misplay here. Caesar should have been in defense. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
I
know.
put him in
Yeah, that
attack.
that is true. Actually, that
I
is
don't
true. Yeah.
I don't know why I put it like you have to understand. I'm under a lot of pressure. But that's the one thing about Yu-Gi-Oh. Even though I'm a YCS champion now, you can always improve on your game. You just because you won something doesn't mean there's not room for improvement. Like when I won the YCS champion, next day I was back on DB playing my deck and be like, okay, I have to like stop doing this, stop doing that, stop doing this. It's just like you have to keep on improving. It's very important. But anyways, that was one misplay I did by putting Caesar in uh,
In attack,
attack.
yeah.
Another misplay I did, which they don't mention in the feature match. So you're getting an exclusive right here. Is I don't mention is that I actually read the trap card wrong, and since I play a lot of DB and it kind of messed up my thinking. You're actually supposed to summon out the Vanquish Soul monster first, and then blow up the board.
Yeah.
I didn't summon out Raisin to add a burger. And then I was like, oh, damn. What did I do? Why did I read this wrong? And my opponent, obviously, this is top 8 of a
Yeah.
YCS. There's no takebacks. Once you make a mistake, you have to fully commit to it. I made a mistake, and there's 2, 3 judges there, and my opponent tells me, "Yo, you can't do that." I'm like, "Oh, damn, I didn't read this right." So like, I made a lot of mistakes, but obviously, my opponent also made a lot of mistakes, and that's like, the better player is the one who capitalizes on your opponent's mistakes.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, it was you were under like a lot of pressure. Like all the judges were there, and it was super late for you, right? What time was it? It was like
It was super late for me. Also, you have to understand, it was a run back.
yeah.
It
Oh
was a
yeah,
run
because that was
back,
your other
and you have to
feature. Yeah,
understand
the
one thing.
same Gemini guy.
You have to understand it was a run back, and also another thing is that is that sorry is
You're
that
good.
uh is that at the beginning he Perulius me and then proceeds to fool me.
Yeah.
Anybody who's played the game in the past couple of formats ever since your cards have been legal, you are under the most amount of pressure that you will ever be when you're under Perulia, when you're under Perulia and Fua. So I fully committed to the board because I was like, my whole thinking behind that game was, I was like, I never thought I'd make it to a top 8 to a YCS, so I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna give like my all to this game, and I literally said I'm gonna make the full board and I'm gonna commit. And usually I don't know if I would have committed, but this game I took the risk and it paid off. And I don't know, like I said, I didn't know his deck list. I didn't know what board breakers he was playing. He could have just gone Duster, Raigeki,
Yeah.
and then I'm okay.
Just
I've
kill
lost.
you. Just
I've
kill
lost
you.
the game
Yeah.
because these Gemini's they play board breakers. I didn't know what he was playing. I saw some of it in round 7, but I didn't know the full extent of his board breakers. And I was honestly very worried. I felt like so do you know when I used my first monster effect of Holy Sue, I was like, oh my god, if he has thrust into talents, oh my
No,
god,
the
I'm
game's just
just
over.
cooked.
Yeah, the game's just over.
Yeah, like I was under the most stress I've ever been because when you give your opponent like 10 cards, you don't know what they're drawing. So I was under a lot of stress in that game. The feature match doesn't show it, but when you get Perulian food, bro, your brain doesn't know. You don't know what you're doing at that point.
No, I know what you're saying because like when you get into those scenarios, especially like double full, like one of each, it's like every time I give a draw, and then if you end up losing, you'd be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have given the draw. So like you just have like that thought
Yeah.
in the back of your head, like why did I give that draw? But like you sometimes you have to commit. And, like it's really good that you did. So all right,
And one of the thing that's not in the feature match is that I asked him. I was like, so he because I had anti spell and he popped it with the following the virtuous.
yeah,
I asked him, did you draw that off my Charmy draws or did you have it in the hand? And do you know he told me the most gut wrenching thing? He said he'd draw it from
he,
the Charmies.
yeah,
I was
see, of
like,
course, bro,
ah.
of course.
Ugh.
No, it's tough. All right, I got one more question for you before we end the interview. Yo, what did you pick for the giant card, by the way? Like, did you already decide on that?
Make a guess. Make a guess. I'll let you make a guess.
Dude, okay. I think like when I was reading all your features, it should be werewolf, bro, because you did win with werewolf. Like your last feature should be werewolf, bro. But I don't know if you picked like your favorite card or not.
You know what's crazy is that werewolf was on my mind, the whole time. I was that when I won the YCS, I was like, because do you have to understand when I won the YCS, I couldn't believe it. It's only when people told me, "Oh, what are you gonna get for your giant card?" And I was just thinking about my last game, oh, werewolf,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
card,
werewolf, bro.
bro.
Come on,
Swung 3 times,
10K,
but
bro.
it's gotta be Razin. No,
Rosin,
it's
okay,
gotta be
that's fair. That's
Razin.
fair. Okay, that's fire. That's fire. Oh, I have to ask you because like you're from EU. Are you gonna pick it up? Are they making you pick it up at the NAWCQ, or are they gonna have it for you there? Because I like didn't
I have
know.
no idea.
Because
I
that'd be
have no
crazy if
idea.
they make you come all the way to NA for that giant card, to be honest. But it would be worth it. Hey, I'll be in that. So like, if you're there, I'm there, bro. It's fire.
I'm probably going to America in the next month or so. I think I have some kind of meeting there, so you might see me there. Who
Hey,
knows?
maybe we'll see. We'll see. All right, thank you so much. Do you have any shout outs before we end the interview?
uh, Shouts to my testing group. Shouts to them. They know who they are. Shout out to Ibra. Shout out to my YouTube. I've got YouTube if you wanna
Yeah, I'll link
look at
that,
my
bro. I'll link
YouTube.
that. Yep.
Yeah, I've got YouTube. I post some content. Hopefully, there'll be some premium content. But yeah, YCS champ over here.
The goat.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, bro. Hey, I appreciate you coming. Hey, thank you, bro.